Hi, I'm Carmen Chammas. I'm your astrologer. Today I talk about the world forecast in the month or for the month of November. Before I start, I would like you, if you please, subscribe to my channel, press the like and the notification button so you can get and receive all my videos, if you please. And you can leave also all the comments that you would like to leave. I always interact with you and I'll be very happy to answer your questions. So how is this month going to be? The world forecast, this is not going to be an easy month. It's going to be complicated, and most probably it's going to be more complicated than October. This month starts actually with, if you watched actually the video I uploaded for the forecast of the month of October, you know that I said that it's going to be very, very complicated, and there will be an escalation of events in the last 2 days of October, starting also the first days of November. And look at what happened on the 30th of October, the night of the 30th. The biggest earthquake of the 2020 happened in the sea between Turkey and Greece, and there were the highest number of quakes on that day in the whole world. So the month of November starts also with these predictions, with these forecasts. I divided the month of November into 4 sections, but the title or the topic or the main highlight of this month, it's actually probably it could be something like related to an escalation in the COVID-19. It's violence. And we have to know that probably there will be a declaration of some kind of a war during this month. This month is very important because there's a conjunction between 2 giants, Jupiter and Pluto, on the 12th, which will actually be the core of the forecast of November. Actually, all November is centered around this conjunction between Jupiter and Pluto. You know, this conjunction, it is actually the theme of the whole 2020, starting with January, then moving to March, and all the month where escalations took place. The first section, the first part that I put for November is the part between the 1st and the 6th of November. This period of time, it actually is imbibed. It means it's like full of all the vibes of the full moon on the 31st of October. Which means that we start the month of November with a very, very high level of tension. Between the 1st and the 6th of November, it can be a very delicate period of time for negotiations, which may actually fail, Also, during this period, there will be very disappointing news. There will be problems with the airlines or any communication system. And this is a very tough period for earthquakes. Anything that quakes during this time is going to be on a high level, especially on the 1st, 2nd, even the 3rd. The 6th of November, there's a square between Mercury and Saturn. It's a very negative time, or it's an indicator for earthquakes and for the infrastructure destruction. This is it. The second part is that between the 9th and the 15th, 16th. Okay? Basically between the 9th and the 15th of November. This is the toughest part of the month. It's the center of the whole forecast, as I said, because of the conjunction between Jupiter and Pluto. For example, on the 9th, we can expect that it can be like mayhem. It's a declaration of a kind of war, and there's a violence that can take place on the 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th is the hardcore the most violent part, and on the 14th with Mars going direct. So all this time is connected to the supermoon on the 15th, full moon, supermoon on the 15th, a new moon, excuse me, on the 15th, a new moon in Scorpio. That's when the moon and the sun are together in the same point. So all this part is very violent. Everything goes to a higher level. Everything escalates and exaggerated, whether it's earthquakes, whether it's snowstorms, whether it's hurricanes, or even if it's any military action. So there can be airstrikes, there can be violence, there can be something that the whole will, like massacres or something, an escalation or a worsening in the cases of COVID-19. I also see during this period there's a kind of a world sadness. The whole world condemns a massacre or the death of an important person, and it can also mean something bad happens and many people are affected negatively. So even an assassination is possible on the 9th, even on the 14th. The 14th is actually it's related to war, declaration of a war, or an airstrike, or any strike or violence. So this is all very tough. It's a very tough period of time, and actually everybody should be careful. If you stay inside, if you stay away from problems, if you stay away from violence, if you stay away from all these violent places, don't take part in them. It's a very violent period of time. So on the 15th, there's this new moon, the supermoon in Scorpio. It's connected with a Venus square Pluto, also on the 15th. And with the 16th, it's also connected to the 16th, another aspect between Venus and Jupiter. It's a square. So this period of time is definitely a very sad period of time, and actually it indicates like a very bad action that calls for as I said, like maybe the whole world or a very big scale event takes place that makes everybody kind of sad and shocked with what happens. The third part is between the 16th and the 21st of November, and this part is as I see it, other than there can be assassination attempts or on an actual assassination attempt, there can be also let me see let me see what happens during this month. So actually what I see in the second part of November, between the 16th and 21st, actually it's maybe it's the stock market that goes down. It's not an easy time for the stock market. Actually, it's very disappointing. Also, a suicide attempt or a suicide event. This is what might happen also. There's a possibility of a sad period of time, mayhem and violence. The infrastructure somehow is affected, which means that most probably it's related either to a military action, a big military action, or to probably an earthquake. When I mention an event, I'm talking about a big scale. I'm not talking about a small earthquake. I'm not talking about a 2 Richter earthquake. I'm talking about big scales. And when I talk about military action, actually I'm talking about big military actions. There can also be strikes. There can be floodings also during this time. It's a very sad period of time. The fourth part is the one that starts it's between the 27th and the 30th. The 30th of November, we have a lunar eclipse, which means it's a full moon in Gemini. This period of time, most probably, between the 27th and the 30th of November, and it stretches till the 2nd of December. This is the time when Earth explodes, when planet Earth, when Gaia is a bit angry, when everything seems to be very noisy, whether it's the wind, hurricanes, floodings, even earthquakes, you know, everything seems to be very, very angry and of a big size. So any earthquake that can take place on this time, especially on the last day of November, first day of December, it can be really very big and violent. There can be, because Neptune goes direct, most probably it's related to some poisoning event, or it can be related to something related to water and oil, an event related to that, and it can also be probably it can be also an assassination. So all in all, it's a very violent month, and it's related to, it is about violence, crime, earthquakes, all of a big scale. Because of the forecast, of course, you would say that these things happen all the time. Yes, but the timing I give you, it's about very big scale events. This is what the whole point is all about. So I wish you a good, safe month. Stay safe yourself. Stay away from trouble, especially when the days are really bad. If you're watching my dailies, you need to take caution and really need to stay safe. I wish you all a good November, and see you all. Bye bye.